Good morning. We are back in the kitchen here at Treetop Lodge. I'm Connie and this is Connie's kitchen. And today I've got a really fun thing to do. I'm stumbling over my words a little bit, but first I wanted to mention, I've got my hair pulled back already. I've got to go see Amy because I'm doing something wrong and I'm getting poofy again, but she'll be able to figure it out. But in the meantime, I know I'm going to touch my hair because I'm cooking, but it's just so soft and silky and it feels so good. You know, it's like, it just feels good. And when you have this much hair, you need it to feel good. So thank you, Amy. All right, so today I'm going to be cooking for one of my private clients. I've mentioned him before. So today we'll call this segment Cooking for Kim. Kim had some health issues a couple of years ago and contacted me early last year, I guess. And what he needed was maybe 4 prepared meals per week with no salt, no fat, all that kind of stuff, which is the way I cook, all fresh. Well, it just happened to be that Kim called and ordered some meals for this week. So I thought, well, I'll show you some of what basically I do for him and how I cook for him. And like I said, it's not all that much different from what I usually do. Now, I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a nutritionist. I prefer what I call more a common sense approach to things. Nothing in excess and always fresh. And things like salt and such, for the most part, can be added at the table. Even things like pork, which pork tends to be high in fat, but I'm not going to give them the whole pork loin. I mean, the whole idea is, they call it portion control. So normally I would cook this pork loin whole, but I'm going to try something a little different today because I'm experimenting. And I'm going to go ahead and instead of cooking it and then cutting medallions, because like I said, I can't serve this whole thing to him, I'm going to cook it into medallions, brown the medallions, and then throw that in the oven. And luckily, I have pork left over, so if that doesn't work, I can do it again. So that's what I'm going to do. Just going to do it real simple, not too thick. And then I'm going to make a kind of a sauce topping for it. The thing with cooking this way is you have to build up flavor in other areas so that it's not, if you love salt, you'll never get over missing salt. I mean, face it. But you can have other things that kind of help you not miss it as much, I guess. So that's where, when I first started cooking for Kim, first few weeks especially, I did a lot of citrus and that sort of thing, which was really such a dominant flavor that you weren't aware of the lack of salt and such quite so much. At least that was my plan, and according to him, I succeeded. So that's where my style of cooking with a lot of fresh ingredients and that comes in, I guess. Now you see I'm trimming away most of the fat. There'll be a little bit which will cook off, and you need that for pork, otherwise it'd be too dry. So just cutting these pieces. I guess the worst part about this today is that I won't have food to send back to the studio. But that's all right. They'll forgive me this once. Boy, there's nothing like handling a piece of fresh pork first thing in the morning, you know? All right, so I've got some pieces cut off of there. Now this, as you see, is thin, so I'm going to really have to watch it once I get it on the skillet. Let's just take this right over here out of the way. Yeah. Just going to rinse my hands, dry my hands. I want to get the skillet screaming hot, because I'm not going to put this, a nonstick skillet. I'm not going to put any butter or oil or anything else in there. I just want to get a sear on here. If it seems to need a little bit more moisture, I have white wine handy. Sometimes I'll throw the white wine in, or any kind of wine, just to kind of add a little bit of steam to it as it's searing, so that it doesn't dry out. So some garlic powder, sea salt. Not a lot, and I'm not going to salt both sides. Just a little bit of sea salt, because it really does bring up that natural flavor of the pork. Then I'll throw them in the skillet when it's hot, and see it's getting hot. But since I don't have oil or butter, I'm not waiting for it to pop. I'm just kind of testing it. And then what I'm going to do is just put it in a glass dish and put it in the oven to finish, which won't take long at all. Now, the full-size pork loin is about 40 minutes after you sear it, about 40 minutes in the oven. This isn't going to take any time at all. So let's see if we've got, yep, got a little bit of a sear happening. There it goes, or sizzle rather. And add a little bit more of my garlic. And a little bit more of my pepper. So what you have right now, other than that little bit of seasoning, is just the pork. And then what I'll do is I'm going to use capers and tomatillos, black olives, because Kim likes black olives, a little bit of red pepper, and some goat cheese, which will make a topping for it. And then I'll serve it. I'm not going to make the sides today, but for Kim, I've been doing a lot of rices and grains, which has really been fun. Quinoa and couscous and different. I found a red rice, a sprouted red rice. And it was delicious. I tasted a little bit as I was cooking it. The fragrance was great. I found another one that's a combination of 6 different wild rices, and as it's cooking, the fragrance was just amazing. It didn't need butter, salt, nothing. The thing you have to watch, now, okay, for instance, I bought this quinoa. This is just quinoa. There's no salt or anything in there. A lot of the prepackaged cook in 5-minute things, you have to really watch because they're loaded with salt. So take a little bit of extra time and get this kind and start from scratch. There we go. We got a little bit of a sear on there. And our little pork medallions. I'm going to give it just a little bit of steam there. Now, cooking for Kim, everything I do, of course, is single serving, so it's small portions, which is quite a challenge when you're used to cooking for 20 or 30 people at a time. But I also really enjoy it. And it gives me a chance to try things that I normally might not try. I wouldn't experiment on a 30, 40 people dinner. But for Kim, I can. If it doesn't turn out, I just don't do it again. So that's pretty much it for the pork. I'm going to give it about a few more seconds on that second side. And I can feel, if you feel it with your tongs, you can feel it's still very moist. If it gets to the point where it's not squishy, then you've gone too far. All right, so there's some pork. Oh, it smells good. It smells good. You can smell a little bit of the garlic. All right, and as I said, I'm just going to set that in the oven. I've got the oven set at 350. And just to remind me, I think I'll set it for 4 minutes. Then, I'll take all this stuff and set it aside. I made a list this morning, and I'm going to put together a quick sauce, which like I said, is just what you see here. So I'll do that. And when we come back, I'll take the pork out of the oven. And there's no big secret here. I'm going to chop up some black olives. I'm going to dice up a little tomatillo, add some capers, and that'll be it. So when you come back, I'll have the pork out of the oven, and I will show you the almost finished product.
Stay tuned for more of Connie's Kitchen. Yeah!
That little bunny is too cute. Stay tuned for more. Yeah!
Join Meals on Wheels in the annual March for Meals to celebrate the seniors in our communities and the ways we can all support them. All across the country, communities will join together to take a stand for the millions of seniors struggling with hunger and isolation. So join the march. Celebrate March for Meals in your own way. March with us.
And we're back. I took the pork out of the oven. I just tasted a little bit. It's nice and moist and juicy. So I'm going to take it out now. For this one, I think I've decided the side dish is going to be red rice. So later I'll make those and I'll put that in the bottom. But for now, I want to get these in here. Look at these. You could feel they're nice and squishy, but they are done through. And then, so there's that. Watch out because that's hot. Whoa! We'll just set that over there. All right. And what I did is I just mixed up, I chopped up a little bit of tomatillo, and again, this is a small quantity. Some black olive, a little dusting of red pepper, and some capers. And I'm just going to dump that right over the top. Already it looks pretty. Now imagine this sitting on a bed of red rice. Good stuff. And then a little bit of goat cheese. There's two reasons I put it in a container. One is I don't want it to get mushy. And two, again, it's portion control. It's not like he's just going to take out the container and dump the whole thing in. So I'll tuck that in the corner, put that aside, and we will move on to steak. Now again, it's a you know, I've said before, steak once in a while, once a week is not a bad thing. Steak 8 nights a week would not be a good thing. So I'm going to go right ahead and get that moist. I'm using the same pan because it's just the garlic and such. I'm going to use for my steak here, which is a petite filet. It's not big, it's perfect for one person. We're going to season that very simply with some crushed black pepper. If I can figure out how to get it open, there we go. And some rosemary. Whoa! Oh, I love rosemary. And this is not open, so I'll grab this one, which is open. I'm going to throw in some balsamic. I'm going to set my steak right on top of that balsamic. Here we go. Ooh, nice, nice, nice. And then I'm going to season the other side. Again, this doesn't take long, so I have to listen to it and keep an eye on it. I'm getting quite a collection of stuff over here today. Another very little bit of my rosemary. Lovely. And what I'm going to do, I've washed my tomato already. I'm going to cut up some fresh tomato. And then as I do the flip on the steak, I'm going to throw some tomato and some garlic and parsley right in the pan and let it cook, and it becomes part of the dish and kind of a topping at the same time. Boy, even in the winter, nice sniff of fresh tomato is a good thing. Get some parsley going here. Now normally you have to understand that when I'm doing this at home, I'm cleaning everything up as I go away so I don't have the big pile, or even up here. But today I just wanted to show you a few dishes, the type of things that I make. And again, this is within our 30-minute parameters. So these are easy, simple, very flavorful things that you could do at home. Throw a little bit of rosemary on there also. And the garlic, since it's wet, I'll wait till I actually throw it in the pan. All right, so let's see what our steak's doing here. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Oh, the other thing here, now it looks overdone. Actually, that's the balsamic glaze. The other thing, especially like with the steak I want to do, is I want to cook it kind of rare because he will reheat it, and that'll complete the cooking process. All right, so I've done my flip. I'm going to throw my tomatoes and such right in there with it. And some garlic right in there with that. Put the lid on so I don't dump it. Not like that's never happened. Ooh. Break up some mushrooms. This also, cooking this way for Kim and for other private clients, gives me a chance to experiment with things that I normally, maybe might be not my favorite things like mushrooms and that, but I like creating things with them and having them come to life and having people enjoy them. And all right, so this one, when I serve it, is going to have a side of fine egg noodles. Again, not a lot because, you know, you don't want a big pile of them. And now we're just going to toss this around a little bit. Got a little, I want it to get dry, so let's give it a little bit more shot of this. So then we have kind of a tomato balsamic finish to this. Oh, Lord, if you were here. Now I'll take the pan off. The pan's still hot, but I can move this stuff around. And then it's going to go directly on the steak. Look at that. Is that beautiful? Oh, I don't want to make this look so simple because Kim will think he doesn't need me anymore. Except that I know that he's kind of allergic to grocery shopping and cooking, so he still needs me. And as I said, then this will be over just some real fine egg noodles. And quantity-wise, we're not talking a ton, because I also provide him with fresh salads and salad dressings for each meal. And sometimes if I find some cool grain products, some different toasts and such, I add those. So there we go, we're 2 for 2, and I'm going to clean up. In the meantime, I'll just tell you real quick, in case you don't know, I'm Connie, and this is Connie's Kitchen, and this is episode 54, which is very cool. And depending on the weather, we did bring the drone up today. Kyle's been figuring it out how to fly it. We flew it around the station a little bit, and it just started snowing and the wind came up, so maybe we won't play with it today. But anyway, you can always call me at 248-933-4579. You can email me at stormy3958@att.net. You can check out our fabulous website, treetoplodgeoxford.com, which just gives you an overview. And a lot of people are finding our website. I mean, every single day I'm getting a notification that there are more and more and more views, which is just great. And, think of us for wine dinners and scrapbooking. I've got a group of ladies coming up this weekend that are actually a book club, and they're going to do some crafts while they're here and just have a lovely winter getaway. And we're booking into the spring. I'm booked up. I have things booking into next November at this point. So if you have a birthday or an intimate wedding or something like that and you're looking for just the right place, give me a call. We may be the right place, we may not, but you don't know till you call. So I'm going to get things cleaned up here and get ready for our third little fun thing. And when we get back, we're going to make some shrimp. So.
Planning a dinner party? Figure out how much food you need with the Guestimator at SaveTheFood.com.
And we're back. Now we're going to do a third dish. I took some of these wonderful jumbo shrimp that I had and thawed them, of course, and washed them. And now I'm going to let them drain a bit. These are so pretty. I'm going to take a fresh orange. I'm going to take a sniff. Now, I've talked about the stuff when Chris buys me all these wonderful seasonings and all preserves and everything for Christmas. This year, one of the things he bought me was this. It wasn't in a bag, it was in a jar. And it's kind of a dry orange glaze. And we just had one jar, so I actually left some at home because he wanted to play with it. And then I brought some up here, and I thought, oh, this would be a good application for this. So I need some moisture in my pan, because again, this is prep and then really fast cook. And I have an extra orange because I'm going to attempt to get some actual chunks out for the final product here. Boy, this is a juicy orange. Look at that. It smells like Florida in here now. It smells like fresh Florida oranges. Hi, Kim and Beth. All right, so there we go. Okay. Now I'm going to throw this right in my skillet. That's going to be my liquid. And then, I wasn't quite sure how to do this. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to spread some of this wonderful seasoning out. And it smells like fresh orange. It smells like ginger. I'm not sure. It's just a lovely, lovely blend. And see, I'm just going to coat these a little bit. Now I want to get my pan hot so I'm ready to go in. These won't take any time at all. And I'm only put a little bit seasoning out at a time because once it's out, it's whether you use it or not, it's gone, and I don't want to waste it. And just letting a little bit of the residual moisture of the shrimp work as an agent for that seasoning to cling to. Oh, it smells good. Yum, yum, yum. This I think I'm going to serve over maybe a toasted white rice. I don't want to go too sweet. I don't want to do like coconut or something in the white rice because I think with the orange in that it would just be overpoweringly sweet. And I like to play with the contrast. And especially for someone like him who is eating differently, you want to surprise him with flavor. You want to come up with new things that are unexpected because that keeps the palate interested and fills the tummy and keeps you from reaching for the salt shaker, hopefully. All right. Starting to get a sizzle back here. So let's set these shrimp right into here, and it's almost like a poach. Set those right back in there. And excuse me while I do this real quick. Oh, that burner's sitting uneven again, isn't it? Yes, it is. Oh well. This too shall pass. I take the burners apart and wash the stovetop so often that quite often I forget to check and see if it's level. That's going to take maybe 4 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I started shelling some fresh peas, and this is going to be our topping. So, I mean, these are the kind of peas pods that you can cook whole, but I wanted the fresh snap, and I also kind of like the visual. And as we all know, I'm not a big fan of peas, but fresh is a whole different thing, and so I'm exploring that. And Kim is great. He's just open to anything I do. So I'm going to zest a little bit of orange in there, because zesting will change your life. If you haven't zested, you must. There we go. And lost some of my zest. Take a look at my shrimp. Oh, look at them. Oh, they're lovely. I'm going to take some fennel. It's a fennel bulb. And even though I washed it, it still looks kind of stained on the outside. So I'm going to take some of that off. And then I'm going to get this as thin as I can to add to the topping for the shrimp. Fennel is, I'm thinking it's part of the onion family, don't quote me. But it has an anise flavor to it. Anise licorice type flavor to it, which I think will just be a really nice counterpoint. Now, a lot of this stuff that I do make for Kim, I don't necessarily get to taste. So I kind of have to rely on him, and he's so funny because he'll be sitting there having dinner, and I'll get a message, a text on my phone. Excuse me, what exactly am I eating? Because I started out giving him full descriptions, and I thought it'd be more fun this way. All right, let's see what's happening here. Oh, look at those. No, you can't see them. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Cook through. Tender. Look at that. Oh, is that beautiful? And oh, that smells good. Now what I'm going to do with this, I was going to reserve some of this liquid and put it again in one of my little containers on the side so it can be poured over when he serves. But in the meantime, that's the other thing about cooking like this for people is I have to think about packaging and delivering and reheating for service. It's not like when I'm catering for, a lot of people and I can just do big pans because I want things to get to him just as fresh. But it's not like he's going to sit down and eat all of it today. So I have to think ahead a little bit. So let's put our shrimp in here. Oh, are those pretty? Pretty, pretty. And then our little mixture, which is nothing but fresh peas and some fennel and a little bit of orange zest. As I said, this will be over, I'm thinking toasted white rice. And then the juice, which you'll be able to add at the end. So there you have it. I have another lovely meal. And I'm going to do 4 this week. So I'll go ahead and start on the 4th one. I always like to do something that is a mixture, almost a vegetarian style. And Kim likes different beans and legumes and different things. So again, it gives me a chance to play with things that normally are not my cup of tea. Using canned vegetables like this, I'm going to rinse them thoroughly because the stuff in the juice is the stuff I don't want. I just want the bean. So I'm going to pour it in here and make a huge mess in the sink. This is black-eyed peas. I'm going to add some fun stuff into it. and then figure out at the end how I'm going to dress it. There we go. See, it's running clear now. All that stuff that goes in the can to for while it's being shipped and such. All right, let's see if we can do it. Can she do it, ladies and gentlemen? Don't move. Don't move. Ta-da! It's all in the planning. Careful planning. So the main body of this particular dish will then, of course, be the black-eyed peas. But it's the stuff that we add to them. So, it's some leftover fennel. Toss that in. And when we started together, Kim had said he wasn't a big fan of radishes. So I, of course, slip radishes into things. Not a lot. Don't want it to be overpowering. And then for this, I'll make up a dressing. You know, I can't say what I'm making now because I have to wait till all the smells come together at the end, and then it'll kind of suggest to me whether I want to do a citrus or more like an Italian style, how I want to go. And that's it for that. We're not overdoing it. Got some fennel in there. I'm going to throw some tomato in there. There we go. And you can also see that I'm carrying components from one dish to another, which makes it economic in that you're not wasting. Because, you know, what am I going to do with half a tomatillo? But that's all I needed for the other dish. So then I find ways to work these things either into a medley like this or into the tossed salads that I'll make. Blocking. I am thinking perhaps, just from smelling here, that this is going to need to be citrus, not lime, maybe lemon, some lemon. Sometimes I do this and just dress it with fresh lemon, but we'll see. I'm going to add a very small quantity of jalapeno. Kim likes heat, but not a ton. So, very, very fine. You know, I'm not a fan at all of jalapeno. There we go. Ooh. Ooh, Kim loves mushrooms. Let's get some mushrooms in there. These are mini bellas, sliced mini bella mushrooms, which are great in a preparation like this, just cleaned and raw. They saute up really nice. And you notice I'm not cutting them, I'm breaking them. That way I can feel where sometimes you get a real woody stem, and I can pull that out because I can feel it. I don't eat mushrooms, but I can only assume that you wouldn't want to be gnawing on, you know, like this is very, very fibrous. I can't even, it's hard to break. And I can't imagine that would be pleasant in a dish. So there we go. See, at this point, sometimes I might think, oh, I'll throw some orange in that. This is a little hardier. This doesn't need the soft, the delicate. This needs like the brace of some fresh lemon juice. And there you have it. Other than the side dishes and the salads, I've got the 4 main courses pretty much ready to go. I'll get that sauce out of the pan in a little bit. And then I'll add the things, like I said, like this is a tricolor quinoa. I haven't done this yet. Organic black, white, and red. And it's very pretty. And I'll be doing all that later. So, Kim, enjoy, and I'll see you soon. And for you out there in TV land, thanks for joining me again here in the kitchen. This is Connie. I'm asking you to remember the promise. Check back to episode 38. Keep watching. This was episode 54. And I'll see you very soon.